Have you ever played cards? Maybe Gin Rummy or poker or crazy eights or spit? What might just blow your mind today is to learn that the mathematical designs of playing cards are how ancient wisdom that predates the Bible were encoded and passed down through the generations. Join Alexander and Viki for this fascinating conversation.
Soul Nectar Show, the Soul Nectar Show. You're invited, delighted to discover who you are. Anything is possible if you believe. So join us on this beautiful journey. Soul Nectar Show, Soul Nectar Show.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Soul Nectar Show, that show that talks about all things essence, where we gather around the campfire and we share our stories of connection to that which is greater than us, the big mystery, beyond the veil, to those synchronistic moments that lead us inexorably to a new way of being, to a new understanding of ourselves, and to create something we've never created before on this planet. Maybe try something new. I'm your host, Carrie Hummingbird. And I have been doing this show for about a decade and weekly and having beautiful conversations here that really uplift and change the perspectives of life and get us outside of the box. And that's really the gift of any kind of seer or magician or shaman or whatever names you want to put on it, is like mystics, is that we live outside of the ordinary. We live outside the ordinary realms, and we can see things in a different way that not everybody can see. So even though sometimes we seem strange to quote unquote normal folks, that's like an invitation, because it's an invitation to break outside the box. And so many times, like when we live in a society, we get caught in these traps, these collective thought forms, these, I guess I heard somebody call it egregore a few weeks ago, and I was like, I never heard that word before. But they get caught in these collective groupthink and then start living our lives from that. But then somewhere down deep inside, after a while of doing that, there's this little voice inside you that says, I'm not happy. And if you actually listen to that voice and follow it and trust it, because if you don't listen to it, then there's a few more deepenings of I'm not happy, like into a different kind of terrain that eventually most of us turn around before it hits sort of a experience of death, like a out of body experience, that kind of thing. But a lot of times we'll just kind of keep staying with the same old, because why? Because that's all we know. And it's because of what everybody is reinforcing all around us. And so that's why it's important to have mystics and people that I bring on the show here, because we're not seeing things through the same eyes. We're seeing things through different eyes that open up a new potential. And guess what? Everybody can do that. And we kind of need to do that now, because we're going to shift the game. Plot twist. If you guys haven't already felt it coming on, like plot twist. We've been doing the same old basic scripts and emotional paradigms and inherited patterns for several thousand years now. And that is dying with the age of Pisces, and we're opening up the age of Aquarius. It's going to be completely different now. And so we have an opportunity to play a different kind of game with life than we've been playing up until now, which means we have to challenge all of our assumptions, and we have to see things through completely new eyes. And so today, we're actually going to see something very familiar through completely different eyes. And isn't that amazing? You guys are going to love this. So stay with us. We have Alexander and Viki with us. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Nice
How
having us.
beautifully said. That was wonderful.
I told you I didn't know what the heck was going to come out of my mouth. I'm always
It was
surprised.
fabulous.
But here we go. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about Alexander and Viki. They are sacred strategy guides. I'm just going to stop there for a second. We're always trying to come up with words that explain to people what we do. And I got to say, sacred strategy guides. That's so cool. I want to say that's a really awesome phrase you guys came up with. Okay. So they draw on the ancient wisdom of the 52 card deck. I told you guys, you're not going to see playing cards the same after this. We're going to change up how you see playing cards. Everybody has played with playing cards. So this is so cool. So drawing on the ancient wisdom of the 52 card deck to help ambitious visionaries find fulfillment beyond achievement. Blending coaching and healing, masculine and feminine, they guide others to clarify their path forward, dissolve self-limiting patterns, and master the game of life. And to do this as a game, and we forgot it's a game. We just passed through, for everybody listening, we're recording this just 2 days past the new moon in Gemini. That was like 6/14/2026. And that moon is encouraging us to be in play, is to like tap into the inner child. Remember that this is a game. This is supposed to be fun. And so when we get those little voices that say, I'm not happy, probably it's because we're not doing ourselves, right? We're doing something else. So tell us, like Alexander and Viki, like I know you had to push your own envelopes in order to realize this. So what did your journey look like to come to the place that you're standing now? What story do you want to tell about it?
You go first.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. First of all, I have always been attracted to things that are out of the box. My spiritual journey, well, first of all, I was super intuitive when I was a little kid. So I definitely was like tapped in and tuned in, and I would know things about people. But then I shut it down for sure. And it was in my late 20s, which is 30 years ago now. I didn't get my period for 6 years. And I went to a bunch of different doctors. They couldn't figure out what was going on with me. Went to an energy healer. And within 1 to 3 days, I got my period. So that just was like catapulted me into this journey of wanting to learn everything I could about healing and energy and what is it and who am I and what is God and all of it, you know. And I would do healing workshops, work with different healers just to have the experience to learn from that healer, like hundreds of healers. Working with shamans, weekend workshops, theta healing, went to the Barbara Brennan School of Healing, you name it. So had this journey of just learning all these different things like you're talking about, these kind of out of the box things. And I met Alexander, it's now 13 years ago, in a cafe. And he came up to me and he started talking to me and asked me my date of birth. And when I told him my date of birth, he proceeded to tell me all about myself in 20 minutes, what I had spent 20 years learning about myself. So it was like, whoa, like that got me obviously listening and like, what the heck? Like he tells me this whole template all about me just based on my date of birth. And he was talking about the regular deck of playing cards, which are actually an ancient language of life that predate the Bible. And they were hidden in the game, like to play a game. You know, they were persecuted by the church because they're really powerful. They're really a powerful system that can help us to live and guide us in this life because we're playing out certain patterns based on these cards.
So excited to get into it. Yeah. Thanks for sharing, Viki. That's awesome. Alexander,
I don't recommend that as a pickup strategy, just FYI. Walk up to a woman and be like, yeah, you could be this, you could be that. This shadow side is this,
well, yeah,
or that.
I mean, he told me some not great things about myself. You know, it was like, oh, here's the good, here's the not so good. You know, I was like, well, Jesus, you know, like.
I was nervous.
And it was accurate. I was like, wow, you know a lot about me. So.
Yeah, she's born to play the 5 of diamonds based on her date of birth. It's all based on numbers. It's a mathematical calculation. And I was single at the time. I'd gone through a divorce and I just found the real meaning of the playing cards. And I knew that I was looking for a woman who was my Venus card in my life path. We have 13 cards in our life path. I'm born to play the 9 of hearts based on math. And the 5 of diamonds is my Venus card. And I'd given up on dating apps. That didn't work. And I wanted to do it organically. And I had my manifestation list that I'd written down. I was manifesting. And when I met her and I asked her date of birth, and I knew, I got all like tongue-tied and excited, like, oh, this could be the one. This could be my woman. And so I just started spewing out all the things about the 5 of diamonds. Like, it means this, it means that, it means that, there's that. And luckily, she is the one, so it didn't scare her away. Like, who is this weird guy who's telling me these things about the 5 of diamonds in a cafe in New York City?
I love that story. That's so beautiful. So you guys, when you came to me with this, and I was perplexed. You know, I was like, it's a card game. We used the deck to play cards. I played Gin Rummy. You know, I played with my dad, sequestered on the boat, a 24-foot sailing boat every single weekend that I was a teenager. Imagine that with your mom and dad.
Wow.
You know? So
a lot of Gin Rummy.
Yes.
A lot of Gin Rummy. So,
I love Gin Rummy.
But like, I know the cards well, but I don't know them like this. So tell us more about this. Tell us about how it works. And then I gave you guys my my birth date. Because I think I told you I was like, I'm willing to be a scapegoat for this.
Yes, absolutely. We're ready.
We'll get there.
They've
We'll get
investigated me. Oh my God.
there. Yeah. You're legit. We figured you out.
Okay.
Well, first, there are 52 cards in the deck and 52 weeks in the year. There are 4 suits and there are 4 seasons. There are 13 cards in a suit, 13 weeks in a season. When you add up the face value of all 52 cards, and that means the ace equals 1, the 2 equals 2, 3 equals 3, jack equals 11, queen equals 12, king equals 13. So you add up all 52, you get 364. The Joker is the 5th element in a 4-part system, the 4 parts being hearts, clubs, diamonds, and spades. So his numerical value is 5/4, which equals 1 1/4. So you put him in the deck and you get 365 1/4, which is exactly a mathematical model of the Earth rotating around the sun. If you believe that, because there are a lot of people who do not believe that.
You get a lot of plasma comments.
Well, I mean,
that's the simple math behind it. And the other piece to add on to what Viki is sharing with you is that nobody knows how old the cards are, even the most skeptical person. And no one knows when ancient China, ancient Egypt, I think it goes further back than that even. But we do know that cards are old. And in ancient times, books didn't have bindings. Like books of the Bible were written on scrolls and parchment, and they were called books. So in an ancient time, this unbound book of 52 loose leaves plus a joker that accurately represents the seasons and cycles of life on Earth, it would have been known as a little book of life. And what I realized in my own research is that this is none other than the book of life that the Bible refers to and defers to. It's very interesting that the Bible does not claim to be the final authority, the final arbiter. We're told in the Bible that on the day of judgment, we're going to sit before the throne of God and the book of life will be opened and we'll be judged according to what is written in the book of life about our lives. So it's very interesting that even in our Western canonical religious text, that text defers to another text called the book of life. And I believe that these cards are none other than that book of life.
Well, I love simpler explanations, right? Well, I wasn't raised with the Bible, so I wasn't raised, but my mom was. And so my mom went through that experience and she said, I'm not going to do that to Carrie. I don't agree. She was just kind of born that way. Like, I don't think that's true. And I can't ask questions about it. And so if I can't ask questions about it, it can't be true. So that was kind of my mom. I don't know how she ended up that way, but she did. So my path has been more like organic and more like through nature and through painting and art and creation. And that's, of course, why I love shamanism, because it resonates for me so deeply for myself. And also because I learned through my life that my mind is a really dangerous place to make ideas about life. My mind is like filled with all kinds of stories, that perceptions. And so trying to use the mind to figure out something as sacred as God, I think is a little bit dangerous. So I feel like these symbols, for me anyway, they resonate because it would make sense to me that they would be more intuitive and more mathematical, as you say, and then also more resonant with the heart, with the body than it would be like the mind trying to figure it out. So,
yeah, it's a symbolic map and it's a visual language. We'll get into it in a few when we get into showing you your cards. That's what I love about it. It's a simple visual language. And my own backstory is that I had studied everything. I studied philosophy at Harvard. I went to Roman Catholic seminary. I was a born-again Christian for a while. I worked on Wall Street and had that whole corporate stint, tried every psychedelic drug I could find, did a lot of ayahuasca ceremonies, went to India, meditated all day in an ashram, hiked the mountain, met the guru. I was really searching for answers. Studied human design, gene keys, astrology, Vedic astrology, sidereal astrology, Mayan astrology, palm reading. And then much to my surprise, what resonated the most for me was when I discovered the real meaning of the playing cards. And it was at a party in Brooklyn that somebody casually introduced it to me. And it resonated so strongly that I decided I wanted to study it and base my life on it and start a professional practice to teach it and coach people. And my family thought I was crazy. here I am, a Harvard graduate who worked on Wall Street, and I'm going to do the same work that gypsies used to do. And that was 15 years ago, and slowly helping to change the perception, to change the consciousness that what we've all thought was an instrument to play games is actually an ancient sacred text that shows us the patterns of our life. And it was hidden in plain sight. How amazing is that?
It usually is hidden in plain sight, just like dandelions. They're everywhere, right? And that's exactly the medicine we usually need. It's like right out there. Dandelions.
Right. I didn't even think about that. That's so true.
I remember in my studies with shamanism, the idea is that whatever the plant that grows near you, that's the plant you need.
Yep. It's like, and there's the ones that are really growing crazy, like all over the place in front of your house. They're like, hi, you need me. I don't even know what they are, but yeah. So I feel like it is important though, in a way, like your exploration of all those other things, especially like the gene keys, because I also study the gene keys and human design. It feels like that also gave you certain amounts of background wisdom, right? I mean, the gene key sequences are freaking amazing, especially the Venus sequence is like, wow, like kind of mind blowing how our IQ got developed and based on covering up the wounds of our EQ and then just back to the SQ into the little child's body and whatever was going on in the child's life. I had such a tumultuous time 0 to 5 and all of that got encoded with emotional wounding and then got encoded with mental defense, right? And so that's why I don't trust the mind to process God, because of exactly knowing that. It's like, no, and I also went to Smith. So I'm also like a Ivy League academic person, smart. But I think smart people realize, the brain is a tool and it's really useful.
Not
it's
every
like
smart person realizes that.
AI is useful, right? But we got to go to the heart. We have to go to something deeper. And so I love this symbology. This is great. So I guess, should we do like an example just so people can see how it actually works? Because people have been watching me for a while, so they kind of have suspicions about me.
They
already.
do. We can get into it.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So you're born on June 26th. And so after we do the calculation, which it's also like easily you can just look it up in Alexander's book, Play Your Cards Right, A Sacred Guide to Life on Earth. You are playing the 4 of clubs as your birth card. So the birth card is your essence, your light to shine in the world.
Like your avatar.
Yes. And clubs represent the mind. And the 4 is a box. And it represents structure, foundation, organization. So holding the space, building the structure and the foundation of your thoughts, your knowledge, ideas, concepts, reframing the way we think.
Where the danger, you've already articulated it. The danger is you get stuck inside that box, inside your own head. And you realize that I can get stuck in a box inside my own head, and then it's not good. And people born to play the 4 of clubs can get stuck inside paranoia and conspiracy theories and really regressive inner spirals of thought. So it's always important for you to reframe the lens with which you look at life. And I've met a lot of people who are born to play the 4 of clubs who are podcast hosts, because you love talking to people because it helps you reframe how you think about life.
Oh, yeah, I love it. I love these conversations. I get the most out of these things, I'm pretty sure. But although people do write me and tell me that was an awesome episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that. I like new ideas and new perspectives.
And also, well, I feel on my end that you're holding the space for us mentally to express our thoughts and ideas. Right. So it's that as well.
Literally, this space that you create for your show and for your guests.
Yes.
And I do that in my community too, because inner medicine community requires structure. Like it has to have boundaries. It has to have space. It has to have clean, healthy, safe space for people to explore ideas, to communicate how they feel and what they think. And it's got to have some guideposts and some stuff we're going to work with. So I just created a really big playground that has like a lot of things to contemplate, like we can contemplate the gene keys. We can contemplate shamanism. We can work with these animal allies. I mean, I just threw all this medicine inside of it. It was like, okay, let's have fun. Basically.
You said the exact metaphor that I often use. The 4 is about building a safe structure for exploration. It is exactly like building a playground.
Yeah.
So the kids are safe to play inside.
Oh, that touched my heart, actually. Yeah,
Without that fence around the playground, the kids aren't safe to play.
exactly. You have to have structure and boundaries.
Exactly. And that's what your gift is to provide that structure.
Yeah, I enjoy it. Makes me feel good.
There's also like a beautiful expansiveness that's inside that box, that's inside the structure. Your whole beginning for me was all about that, like the expansiveness, sort of the out of box energy that's within the foundation. That's what it felt like, as you were talking. It's really beautiful.
Well, that landed, you guys. That feels good. Yeah, thank you.
One more thing about the 4 of clubs before we move to your 6 of hearts personality. The 4 is the number of the emperor. And in China, if you ever visit China, which we were lucky enough to do, there are no 4s on the elevator numbers. They skip the number 4, like we might skip the number 13, because to them, the number 4 is the sacred number of the emperor, and you don't use the emperor's number. And it's very true for you that when you're playing your 4 of clubs well, there's a mastery of knowledge, and you are the one that has the knowledge, almost like a king of knowledge, but it's an emperor of knowledge. And it happens when you're willing to open your mind. So for you, it's always about having a beginner's mind. That's paradoxically how you build the safe structure.
Yeah, that is so true. You wouldn't believe how many times I say that to all of my people everywhere. I was even last night eating dinner with my husband. We were having our anniversary dinner, and the waiter is so fascinated with us. We've been there a couple times, and he waited on us. And so he came right over and he was like, I was wondering how you guys were. And we had this beautiful conversation. And it came right out of my mouth. Well, it's important to have beginner's mind about literally everything. And, I'm always saying that because that's how I find that the insights come in, because we're like, I believe we're elevating human consciousness to a whole new level and a whole new octave. And so therefore, we can't really hold on to any thoughts we might be having right now because they're steeped in the past up until now. So if we want to open to higher consciousness, we have to continually let go of what we think we know so that the new insights can come in. And so that's what I love to do. Anytime I do that, I'm way happier and I'm like excited by life instead of like,
Yeah.
Well, and I'll do you one better, which is that you're here to build a new world. And you're already alluding to that too, because thoughts are what we use to build our world, which is not the same as consciousness. That's the classic distinction between consciousness and mind. Consciousness is pure, we could say divine essence, pure awareness. It's spirit. Mind energy, clubs, is the energy we utilize to build our world. Everything in our world starts as an idea. Sliced bread started as an idea. We're talking to you on a computer that started as an idea, using microphones that started as an idea. Everything, democracy, money, everything in our world starts as an idea. You have the power to reframe our thinking, which means the power to reframe our world.
I love that. Yeah. And I have like a deep Scorpio in my chart. So I'm tapped into like collective consciousness. So I'm often feeling the sort of collective pulse of things and things that probably a lot of people are not aware of. And I just tap into that and I go, And then these thoughts come in and then I kind of say, I want to shift that thought. Let's change how we think about that. Let's shift a different perspective. Yeah, it's true.
Great. That's great.
It's what I love. And before it was a cage, I was like constantly pounding up against the edges, before I found this path. I was constantly, 2 decades of weekly psychotherapy in my victim story, it was just like, It is hard. It is hard when you're trapped like that in your mind, in that like psychosis.
Yeah, it can happen to people born to play the 4 of clubs, especially.
Yes. With these walls, it's like walls, 4 walls. So it's expanding in that. And before, when you were talking about the beginner's mind, I just imagine it. The pip patterns always show you how to play them well. And I just imagine like that information coming into this space. Like it just comes right through with the beginner's mind, right into that space in the center.
There's like this little portal. My assemblage point is like over here, and it just like drops right in my assemblage point, and this goes, my soul gives me a blob.
Wow.
And I just like process the blob. Yeah.
Wow.
Great.
Inspiring.
It's fun. It wasn't fun getting started, but it's fun now.
And I'll say, as kind of a moment of reflection for me, that I love whenever I meet someone who is playing their cards right without knowing that those are my cards to play. Like you found your way through your journey, through your guidance to play your cards right. So I love whenever that happens. And so thank you.
Yeah. And I do like to play to win. So I like this theme.
Let's talk about your personality.
Yeah. Okay.
So again, based on your life path, we didn't just shuffle and pull this out. It's not like that kind of divination style reading. It's based on mathematical principles. The 6 of Hearts is your personality card, and it's the heart. And the heart is the suit of the heart, obviously enough. Diamonds are the physical, clubs are mental, hearts are emotional. The spade is consciousness. So having a 6 of Hearts personality means you lead with your heart. That's how you first show up. And I'll cover up the 4 of clubs on purpose to visually represent this idea that you have a persona of a heartfelt person. You show up with a heart-based energy. And the 6 is symbolically 2 straight lines. So you want to direct your heartfelt energy. It's like a funnel. You can imagine that energy is flowing through. So you take all your knowledge and accumulated wisdom and you flow it through your heart in how you direct your heartfelt energy. And the 6 is about how are we going to line it all up? How are we going to make peace? How are we going to diplomatically line people up so that everybody has a seat at the table?
Yeah, I'm always fascinated and interested. My attention's always getting hooked by inequity and people being mistreated and people not understanding each other, fighting over things that, are we really going to fight over that? And not being able to come to understanding. My attention's constantly hooked by DEI and how can we create more equity? How can we heal the past? How can we come into acceptance of our life path? How can we love ourselves and love others? Like that's like my whole, everything's always hooking my attention, those kind of things, you know.
Yes.
I watch dramas just to understand how people think. I watch, you know, I watch those television series just to go, oh, that's what that person thinks. So like I watch relationship things so that I can understand how people, because I don't always understand how people are. Like I doesn't get it. I have to be shown. I don't innately understand why people are like that.
When you do that, do you then relate to the person and feel it? Like you really feel what they're feeling and you can understand it better because of the feeling.
Yeah, I can feel it. Even if it's a TV drama, I can still feel it because people are tapping into that themselves. The actors are tapping into that, right? So I can get it through books. I can get it through literally anything, social media posts, conversations, people I'm actually talking to, healing sessions. It comes through really strong. Like I can feel how the person feels and I'll get like a few words or something. And when I say it, they're like, that's exactly it. Oh my God. Things that are deep in there that they can't, that aren't at the surface, I can like go way in and see it through my heart. Yeah.
I'm so happy to hear you talk about this. It just feels really good to me because just in my relating to it, like being able to understand people more deeply in that way. And even that you're using like a show, like I love watching shows and movies. And I think there's a lot of, I mean, this is a bit segueing a little bit, but there's a lot of talk about how like it's not healthy and it can be like a way to zone out and escape. But I've always felt that it helps me access myself more deeply in the ways that you're talking about. That's how I watch something. And I also watch because I just love directing and acting and I love all these other things. But it really helps me to go deeper. I even have had like process sessions with myself watching something or feel my rage or like watching something where that's about revenge. And I'm like, oh, you know, and I have those feelings and I'm like, it helps me access all that. So I so appreciate your sharing that. That's very helpful for me to hear you talk about.
I think it's the intent, right? It's the intent is like how we want to.
Yes.
But my husband and I watch it together and then we're like psychoanalyze the whole thing. I'll be like, oh my God, this person. And I'll be like, they really do that? And he's like, yes, you don't notice that? I'm like, no, they say this. They think that? Yes, they do. And then we'll have this whole conversation back and forth about like what we just watched. And I'll be like, I can't believe people are like that. Oh my gosh. And then I'm completely surprised. And then I have to like run it through my inner filter, you know, because I'm like, really? I didn't know that. And there's a lot of things I miss, you know, like if I'm not tuning into it particularly, I'll miss it. You know, I have to actually focus and to learn. Yeah.
I resonate with that as well. Tell me if this feels right for you, that I have an innocence and a naivete where I just can't believe that people would do something like that. Like really?
Yeah.
I remember when I was learning the cards and learning their meaning and learning some of their negative meanings, I was resistant. I was like, no, I don't think people are going to do that. But I have.
We're seeing it now. Like it's exposed.
Yeah, it is true. And one of the conversations we have a lot is how to witness what is without taking it personally, allowing it to drag us down in any way, or buying into the fear, whatever it may be. I want to see it. I don't want to hide from it. I want to know it. I want to learn about it, and then yet not have it affect me. So it's a very interesting middle path. And we talk about this a lot, of how to do that.
Yeah, I agree with you guys about that. Like, it's important to witness it. And then if you're getting dragged out by it, then I think take a little break, and kind of do your own personal work and get centered again. But like, it's been really important to witness it. And I think it's that sacred witness piece and bringing presence to it that actually helps to release some of the trapped energy, especially if we can show up without judgment, which is in my chart. So I had to learn how to, I have judgment. I mean, I'll confess it. I do. I have some judgment. Sometimes a lot of it.
That would be the 4 of clubs. Like, you would have your own. It's got to be this way.
Yeah. It's inside my box, or it doesn't work. That's also true. Like, I actually don't work well in other people's containers. Like, I have to own the container. Like, I must own the container and create the safety, and then everyone can play inside. Yeah. But like, I don't play well in someone else's spot. Like, I noticed, like, I try to, and it just never really, the magic doesn't open up the same way. So
could I ask you a question? Is it perhaps because it doesn't feel as safe in their space?
I think there's levels of safety that I'm aware of that not everyone's aware of, because I've worked on creating a lot of safety within myself. And I think because I had such a wounded inner child, really scary times. I saw my mom almost get thrown off a 3-story balcony by her partner. Like,
how old were you when that happened?
Like 3. So, I mean, there was violence in the house, and he was not a kind person. He was a very insecure person, very weak and bullying. So I think that early time created, and I've been doing so much deep healing on that, but every single layer I go down to heal that one within me, then now I have an expanded sense of how much safety is needed. So then I'm like creating that capacity and that depth for everybody that I serve, because I'm aware of like how much it takes to heal these little ones that are like really trapped in these old narratives and these like emotional patterns, right?
Yeah, I asked that question pointedly because I would imagine that for someone playing the 4 of clubs, it is all about safety. And that's creating that safe playground, but it's only safe if that fence is strong and secure.
Yeah, I can detect like weakness in people. A lot of people that have been, have early childhood trauma have like super spidey senses, like can really pick up on like nuances of like, okay, that's not exactly like you said this, but then I feel this and I don't really think it's exactly, and so they need to be able to ask into it. They need to be able to ask questions and make sure and discern and say what they need. And so you have to have a strong enough container that lets people really challenge you to be sure that you're a safe person. And I get that.
That's so insightful. I mean, just like, the words not matching. I mean, that just happens all the time. It just,
and that's why people get disillusioned. But what they don't realize is like, it's not that the person doesn't have beautiful intentions. It's that they're still cultivating the capacity to be present with their own stuff. And if your stuff's deeper than their stuff, they can't meet you there. They just don't know how. They don't have like the experience inside to be able to meet you at that depth.
Unless they want to, unless they choose to. But yes, they might.
They have to work at it. Yeah, exactly.
This is such a great conversation.
And I would say a lot of those things are based on people's cards to play. That's going to be illuminated in the cards.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Different people. For sure.
And like all the exploration that you guys have done, like you've gone so deep into yourselves. I think it's so funny. You're like mirrors of each other because each of you went on this like quest, right? Like I have to find out everything. So I find the truth and I know it's out there. And then it leads you back inside. And then but you eventually get to this place, right? Where then you're ready for your divine partner, like your partner that you're going to be doing your work with, right?
Yes,
and then, but you had like these mirrored experiences and that's so much the way it is, right? I feel like a lot of people maybe get discouraged because early relationships are more based in those karmic patterns, but they think, oh, well, never going to happen for me or this kind of stuff. But then when you have stories like yours that you're bringing in here, I like to highlight that it's like because you each went on your own paths and did your own work.
We did a lot of work.
on yourselves, and then you met up, and now you're that sacred mirror for each other. Not to say you're like perfectly healed, right? I'm sure you have arguments or things you fight about, but
the first few years were rocky. We had a lot of butting of heads and a lot of, I would say, because we were both coming from such a deep place, we didn't tolerate shadows in each other, but we didn't have a good way of communicating it. We had to learn that. We had to learn ourselves about love languages. We had to learn about nonviolent communication and taking personal responsibility and owning our own shadows. We learned it together.
How did you use the cards to understand each other too? Because I'm sure you also use that to understand each other.
That was the way we got it finally. What do you want to say?
I'm just like,
it's the first time I've ever said it that way, because it's the first time it ever came to me that way.
This is what I wanted to say. This is what I want to say. I know I had this thought that was like, yeah, we're not, okay. People often talk about like the honeymoon stage. You meet somebody and you're like, oh my God, you know, we skipped it. We actually skipped out. I knew, I'm very intuitive. I was like, wow, like I just knew, like I felt this very deep soul connection with him, even though we were just completely missing each other in many ways. And then we went in to the depths, and we went into, I don't know, there's a name for it when you go from the honeymoon to the, you know, like,
we
whatever, we skipped it. And so we kind of just dove in to all of this stuff that he's talking about, you know. I would
say too, and this, I think this is worth sharing, that Viki was doing a manifestation to meet her soulmate, and she had a vision board. And when I first came into her house, which is this house that we're in, and I saw the vision board, I was like, oh my God, that's me. And it even had 2 kids on it. And I had 2 kids, and there was daughter.
Same age. Everything.
On the vision board. It was all there. And I had my manifestation list, and she checked every box. So we're like sitting across from the dinner table, like right away, like early. I don't remember how early, but like within a couple of weeks of dating, sitting across the table, and we're looking at each other with this sudden realization of, I manifested you. You were the object of my manifestation, and now you're a flesh and blood human being. And that transition from object of my manifestation to an embodied human being, well, we dove right into that. That was the part and it got deep and messy very quickly.
It does get deep and messy. I had that experience with my partner, Akeem, and I think it's because there's a level of safety and trust when you have that divine soul connection, and you know each, like at a deeper level, that so much of the wounding can open up and be released and expressed. And I don't think it's just this lifetime either. I think it's like many lifetimes and all kinds of stuff, right? Inner child, it's like freaking the whole boatload, which is why you needed to explore all those other things, you know, before getting to this. It's so powerful that you were able to see that and then stay the course. And then because you each had dove deep into your own journeys, you were able to dive deep together, which is like really the bonus round.
Well, it's where we actually got into the real stuff. As you said, I like how you said that. That's the first time I've thought of it that way, that because of our deep container with each other, it allowed all of that wounding to come out. I've never thought about it that way, but that's true. And it really did all come out.
Well, it's like being with each other, meeting each other, I feel like just brought it all up, like also in the vibrational match even of our woundings. And it takes a lot of courage to stay in that. That is for sure. Both of us have had times where we were like, we had 1 foot out the door, you know, we're like, it was challenging. And knowing the cards definitely was an enormous help, enormous to know the cards in play. So
and I want to point out that because you guys have gone through this, I just want to interject before you go into the next point, because you have personally gone through this together as a couple in your container. I want to point out that they'd actually be really good to work with. Also, if you're working with your partnership in your couple and it's not working out well and you're like wondering what the heck is going on, that's a space that they could hold you because they've done it themselves. I always like, if somebody's done the work themselves, I would point that out. And Akeem and I've done it too, but we have this system. But yeah, this is really cool. So, okay, proceed.
Thank you.
Okay, so I am playing the 5 of Diamonds as my birth card and the Queen of Spades as my personality card. So that's a diamond and a spade. Alexander is playing the 9 of Hearts as his birth card and the 7 of Clubs as his personality card. That's a heart and a club. The hearts, clubs, diamonds, and spades have different love languages.
So if you're familiar with the idea of the 5 love languages, actually there are 4. They each have 2 parts. It's the same idea as the 5 love languages, but we can be more precise when we know the suits.
Hearts, emotions, emotional expression.
Touch,
Yes.
sensual touch.
Oh yeah.
Diamonds, is the physical. It represents the physical, anything we can perceive with our 5 senses. So a physical act, being together physically,
And a physical gift.
buying something for someone, right? That's my love language. Hearts, his love language.
Primarily.
Spades, acts of service, which is like so big for me. That's probably my number 1. And
so consciousness, being on the same wave.
shared value, shared purpose.
So like if you have a spade as your love language, which you don't, you have hearts and clubs, but someone who has spades, it would be important that we're both vegan or we're both Christian. Like you have the same beliefs. That's an important aspect of the spade love language, which you don't see in that 5 love languages framework from that book. There's that additional component. And then the club's love language is words, thoughts, words of affirmation.
Stimulating conversation, those kinds of things also.
So we have different love languages. And we didn't know that at first because I was still developing this knowledge of the source cards. I hadn't even thought about the fact that there's love languages to each suit until we explored together. We couldn't understand why we both felt unloved in our relationship, even though the 5 of Diamonds is the Venus card for the 9 of Hearts. So energetically, like musical overtones, we have a harmony in our energy field that is Venus, that is love. We both felt unloved and bitter and resentful, and we couldn't figure out why until we realized we have these different love languages, which started from reading the book, The 5 Love Languages, and then we mapped it onto the cards and developed it further. But yeah, I would say to her, I love you, and give her a hug, words and physical. And she bought me a necklace and would do something for me. And I'm like, okay.
It didn't land.
Great.
It didn't land. But I feel like there was like this growing into it. And I feel like now I appreciate his love languages a lot. And I feel them more and more inside of myself, which, I've come to believe that, we really have all the love languages. We might have primary ones, but for me, I feel like all of them, I'm starting to feel all of them for myself. So when he says words of affirmation to me or something about myself, or if he's appreciating me or telling me he loves me or touching me, I have a very different response to it because I've expanded my growth. That's not the right way to say it, but I'm just
taking
feeling it more.
Garbage now is more meaningful. No, it is.
Is that true?
It is. It is. I do the dishes.
The thing I'd be like, you say you love me, but you could take the garbage out.
That's
that would be it with that's what I wanted.
And we both had a lot of judgment about the other person's love languages. That was also a big part of it. I had implicit judgment that it was superficial that she wanted me to buy her something. That you need me to buy you something for you to know that I love you? Diamonds. And really, you need me to do the dishes so that you know I love you? There's a lot of implicit judgment that goes to the wounding that then we needed to unravel. And that took us a while to unravel all the wounding and the story and the judgment around that.
Yeah, I can see that. I was just laughing at myself because last night at the anniversary dinner, I gave Akeem a card. I got him a really nice card and I wrote out the course. Words of affirmation, messages from my heart. So then last night he wanted a massage. So I gave him a massage. So I have to go look and see what his are now. I have to go get the book.
Ooh, what's his birthday?
Let's see, February 23rd.
February 23rd. We're doing the lookup.
He has 3 of diamonds. February.
Oh,
2 of diamonds.
But you have a similar, he's 2 of diamonds, 8 of spades. So you guys have the same thing we have. You have different love languages.
Yeah.
So for him, it's the physical, and the spade is this act of service. He wants
he wants gifts. He wants gifts. I had to buy him gifts.
And he wants you to do things for him, like give him a massage.
Yeah.
That's, you love him. We had a funny joke.
Stick.
I'm going to tell the joke. I think it's okay to tell this. When I first met Viki, she would be like, my massage therapist loves me. I'm like, are you kidding me? You pay your massage therapist. But love language. It's a love language. When someone does something for you, she'd be like, my massage therapist loves me. I'm like, I don't think so. I think you pay her. I think that's why.
Yeah, that's why they do it. I love touch. I love being massaged. It's my favorite thing.
Oh, your hearts.
Yeah. I just love it. And Akeem actually went because he's a spade, right? He went and learned how to be a masseuse. Wow. He actually does it as another job, but he learned it because of me, because I love massage. And he was trying to give me massage as an act of service. But like, I was like, oh, that's not quite, because I'm picky because I'm an aficionado.
The emotions, there's got to be the right intention. It's not just rub my body. It's with the heartfelt intention.
Exactly.
That's what I felt from my massage therapist, the heartfelt intention. Yes.
Yeah, exactly right. So now I have this masseuse husband, which is really great. Last night he wanted me to massage him, and I was like, ooh, this is not my forte, but I did my best. He's actually really good at it. And so I was like trying to be as good as I could as well. I was giving from my heart.
He's a very hard worker with his cards to play.
Yes, he is. He shows up.
He's a very hard worker.
Yeah, he really does.
You guys are well matched on the cards too.
Respect him.
Well, he's the leader of the dynamic between the two of you.
Oh yeah, I didn't even realize.
So you need to follow his lead. He's your moon to him.
Wow, you're moon to him. That's fantastic. That's a great match.
The best connection you can get.
Moon, Venus.
Moon and Venus. Yeah, those two.
Interesting.
Oh, and you have a Venus also.
And you have a Venus. But it means that he's the leader. So he needs to lead the relationship.
Interesting, because I would say I'm kind of leading. Well, I'm leading the community more because I've been the one building it.
I didn't tell you about the downside of the Six of Cups.
Control issues?
Bossy.
Yes. Oh, I am so bossy. I am.
My God, you were so adorable.
You want everyone. You want everyone to toe the line. You want everyone to march to your army.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you don't do it, there'll be consequences. This is what I've had to work on, like as a speaker, and we're gonna wrap up in just a couple minutes. But like, oh my gosh, as I started getting my soul purpose and my soul calling, and realizing like I'm like working with this higher frequency energy, and wrote this book, and White Eagle came through, and all of this stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm here for the Great Awakening. I have to tell everybody. Oh my gosh, and I was really I actually got so upset that people were not just hopping right on board. I was like, what is the matter with you guys? I was like, you guys don't get it. Like, this is important. We have to do this now. And I just got really upset that they were not coming on board. What is the matter with everybody? And so I really had to just do a lot of inner restraint and shifting perspective and breathing deeply and trusting, letting go of control. Because, man, I had so much judgment for a while. And a lot of people came on my list because they were really excited at first. And then when I went through that phase, a lot of people got off because they're like, she's being terrible. She's judging us. We're not being quick enough with our spiritual growth, not hopping on board, not signing up, not doing the work. And that went on for about a year before I finally got the message. It's not easy to care so much and to let go of control at the same time.
You have a deep love and passion, and you want to bring peace on earth. It's nothing short of that. You want to bring peace among all people. And it is about being in the flow and trusting the flow rather than trying to control the flow and control people. It's a difficult challenge, we could say, or maybe it's a wonderful opportunity, however we want to frame that.
I've been framing it as a good opportunity.
Yeah, it's a wonderful opportunity for you to learn unconditional love. Because you love people no matter what they choose to do or don't do. That's how you really create the alignment.
That is so true. I have a specific person in my life that's really calling me up in that regard. So yeah, that I love to pieces. And yeah, it's a lot of patience, presence. And
the symbolism tells the story. Imagine these two lines are you and the other person. And you're wanting the other person to get lined up, like reaching out to try to make the other person get aligned. The only way it happens is by you staying in your own alignment of unconditional love. And then the other person starts to mirror you.
This is true. Thank you for that. Yes. It's about heart coherence.
Yes.
It's about heart coherence and holding the frequency. And then just letting them come into alignment with the frequency, which is not my frequency, it's the planet's, but I'm just holding it open.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes.
That's it.
Yeah, it's not about me. I'm simply serving as a conduit of spirit. That's what I chose to do. So yeah. Gosh.
And the six is a conduit. It's a channel.
Oh.
It's great. That was powerful, you guys. That's good medicine.
And I love your fiery red hair too. It's an expression of your heartfelt passion.
I show up fully. And I usually have, it actually broke recently and I ordered a new one, but I usually have a Tenochtitlan or Guadalupe pendant that I wear for the Great Mother that I wear like right around my heart because I like to bring that divine mother energy out there in the world. It's needed.
Yeah. You bring it.
Yeah.
You bring it.
Doing my best. Thank you guys so much. And so like, okay, the book is, I didn't see this, but you have an offer. Do you want to tell us what the offer is about the life audit offer?
So the life audit is where you get to ask questions. You fill out a form and you get to ask us anything that you want. And then we do together a 20-minute recording answering your questions. And there's guidance on cards to play and there's a little bit of healing and,
Coaching.
kind of, yeah.
For only $55.
Yeah.
That's a great deal. And so I'll put that link in the show notes, you guys. It's thesourcecards.com, thesourcecards.com.
Yes.
And then /life-audit -with-Alexander -Viki. And if you didn't get all that, just look in the show notes. It's down there.
Yeah. And it's in the navigation of our website.
And your book is on Amazon. Show us again the book.
It's on Amazon and bookshop.org.
Play Your Cards Right. A Sacred Guide to Life on Earth. Okay. So check that out, you guys. Check out their work. You guys just saw it in action. So that's the proof in the pudding. And yeah, thank you for being on here.
Thank you.
Please like, subscribe, share everyone this out with anybody that you think might be interested. And I like to give kisses at the end of the broadcast. If you want to join me, you can. But here they come, everybody. Thanks for staying all the way to the end.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time on Soul Nectar Show. Bye for now. If you found even one gold nugget in this episode of Soul Nectar Show, will you do us a favor? Will you subscribe, like, and share this episode? Maybe even write a comment and let us know what you thought about it. We really, really want to engage with you at a much deeper level. Let's be part of community together. Have a great week, everyone. Bye for now.
Soul Nectar Show. Awaken, Nectar Show. Take a sip from the drip of nectar, from the source of who you are.